Hi again, people. It's me, obviously, as always, Moino Ravenberg. Yeah, I'm going to briefly discuss in this header, as you can tell, as is usually and always the case, that being a millionaire or why being a millionaire is overrated and how that works exactly and why you shouldn't focus specifically on getting rich, okay, within this specific context. Again, let me elaborate. A lot of people, they have dreams of becoming a millionaire. They want to be a millionaire, they want to become filthy rich, and so on and so forth, and it just goes on. But of course, a lot of people do so for utterly the wrong reasons. You can strive towards becoming a millionaire or a billionaire or just outright making as much money as possible within a constructive, healthy context, as in, hey, I demand the best of myself. For example, the way I do. But that doesn't mean that, for example, I am greedy, and that's where most people fail themselves. And the opposite is going to happen. You're going to spend the rest of your life chasing a metaphorical dollar or euro or pound or whatever, but you will never reach it, honestly. But people misunderstand the whole situation. Like I said, it's good to simply demand the best of yourself and to constructively focus on wealth, but it has to be for all the right reasons, as in you need to have a good mentality, as in anything you get it because you earned it, you worked for it, and you found, if you become a millionaire, an ingenious way to come up with it, or a genius way, whatever. But again, people don't even think about the mechanics. How many millionaires do you have in the world compared to what, the 7 to 8 billion or 9 billion people on the planet? Like less than what, 0,001% or something like that? Literally less than what, guaranteed 10% of the world's population is a millionaire. Again, I don't know the exact figures, I'm simply spitballing here, I'm giving you an example. My point is, it is that ridiculously hard, equivalent to winning the lottery. That's how hard it is to become a millionaire, but people don't go over the mechanics, as in, listen, to become a millionaire, you need to be able to do something that very few, if anyone in the world can do. And you need to be able to, whatever product or ware or service you offer needs to be something that people make use of on a day-to-day basis. Guys that invented things like computers and related, these guys are billionaires or millionaires or multimillionaires because, just like I said, they have items that people make use of on a day-to-day basis. I mean, things that are unmissable in modern society. People, if the entire world has their computers or devices taken away, all hell is going to break loose, literally and figuratively. That's my point. If you want to become a multi-millionaire or at least a millionaire, you need to literally do something to that extent or to that equivalent. You need to be able to come up with something, invent something, whatever. That's how people become millionaires. It's when you actually have a product or service that is of a mundane nature to the point where people make use of it at a day-to-day, on a day-to-day basis or at a day-to-day level, and they need it. It is such an integral part, or has the potential to be such an integral part or integral part of their lives, to the point where it's unmissable, and you're essentially the only one, more or less, that has the monopoly to these wares or services or products. You're the only one that has it, as in you're the only one that can produce it, etc. Anyone that wants to buy the rights will have to fork over just like what you want, millions. See my point? That's exactly where I'm coming from. People, that the inventors of mobile apps, social media apps and whatnot, exactly, see what I mean? They came up with a product or service that everyone, that has the potential for to be used by a good chunk of the world's population globally, to the point where it's unmissable. And what happened? A good deal of them were bought out, and they said to themselves, yeah, sure, I mean, they have their own personal reasons, so they simply allowed themselves to be bought out, and whoop-de-doo, they're millionaires. That's the whole process that makes it so that you're a millionaire. But you can't just say, oh, okay, I'm just going to try something and I'm a millionaire. Stupid people think that way. They have these idiotic delusions and or get rich quick schemes, or a combination of both. They have get rich quick delusions that make it so that they think that they can seriously attain that level of those levels of material assets. They can attain millions in funds with without going through the aforementioned steps or outlines. Nah. The only exceptions to those rules, to this rule, this general rule of thumb, is someone that won the lottery or something like that. Someone that attained that level of metaphorical wealth, that attained that level of money by external means, as in the person didn't literally work for it or attain it through labor or through some kind of exceptional skill and or the ability to create the aforementioned item that would lead to those millions in question. And again, being a millionaire is overrated. People focus on all the wrong things, but yeah, what do you expect? People are stupid, plain and simple. When you're a millionaire, it brings your entire life changes and it brings a whole set of new problems with it. The average person, if you're the average person and you're watching this, you can be uninhibited. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, and you're only responsible for yourself and no one bats an eye. Did it ever occur to people watching this and people that are interested in this subject, either way, did it ever occur to any of you watching this that people that are millionaires and billionaires and anything and everything else in between and beyond and so on and so forth, that these people, they can't do the same thing? They can't say, hey, I'm just going to go to the supermarket. No, they need to go with their group of bodyguards, either metaphorically or literally. Either that or they need to have it bought for them, and it just goes on. You can compare it to being a high-level politician or the president or prime minister himself or herself. They can't do any of those things. Like, everything has to be done for them because there are so many things that can happen. Someone can try to poison you, kill you for whatever reason, and it just goes on. You as the average person, you can attend a football match. You can do whatever you want. You can go to the zoo. Nothing. Someone like that will literally have to schedule an entire schedule around all of that to be able to go to the zoo. Someone like that has people looking at them from all sides and on all sides. It's like being a celebrity. You're not allowed to screw up, bluntly put, fuck up or similar. As a person, the average individual, you have the freedom to do that. You screw up royally, no one cares. That's the beauty of things. But people don't get that. With the good comes the bad. And you can't expect to have that kind of money and to not have any kind of difficulties or anything like that. I'm going to give you a simple example. This has nothing to do with being a millionaire or anything like that. But back in the day, I can't remember if I brought this up, but regardless, it doesn't matter. That doesn't change the fact that I'm going to give it as an example or its merit or nor its merit. Back in the day, when I was the average person, so to speak, and I went through the motions of taking care of myself and everything for personal reasons of tremendous magnitude, of course. I was broke. There were plenty of times in general when I was broke. I was pretty much almost broke all the time. No one asked me anything. The second I became a hotshot magician, I was doing really well for myself, etc., etc. Guess what? It's not like I was flaunting my wealth and throwing money on the streets, metaphorically, or in a manner of speaking, but no. You know, people aren't blind, and before you know it, greed takes a hold. People or parasites or whatever you want to call them. The general consensus is that the public is not blind to your success, and especially with me, because by default I stand out a substantial amount. Then people started people started paying attention to me, and before you know it, I got like one or two guys begging me for money and stuff like that. I was like, oh, back in the day, no one asked me for money because the general consensus was, oh, Moreno doesn't have a dime on him. But now it's like, oh, yeah, and yeah, it begins. See what I mean? And now I'm faced with this situation that I have to deal with. And it just goes so on and so forth. Believe me, I've had guys, you guys will not believe this. Again, I can't remember if I brought this up, but it doesn't matter. I literally have had guys in the past year or two that actively, guys that I no longer am in contact with, that actively, just for the sake of greed, tried cursing me. These guys are so stupid that they have no idea who I am. They can't comprehend my divinity and that I'm the strongest magician in the world. So these guys assume that I'm like just someone that's naturally well off and blah, 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 blah. And they seriously tried undertaking magical action towards me for the purposes of extracting as much of my wealth as possible, because I'm actually and truly wealthy. Okay, not focusing on the amount. Google wealth if you don't know what wealth is. I'm not talking about money. It's a clear-cut difference between money and wealth, and if you don't know, then wait until the end screen of this video and you can watch the video that will pop up there if you don't know the difference. But my point is, that's seriously, that's the bluntly put shit I have to deal with. You can see what I'm talking about. Back in the day, I wouldn't have to worry about a single thing. Are you kidding me? As the saying goes, you can't pluck feathers from a bald chicken. But now that I am like a giga, mega, ultra peacock, then the bitches come running and they want to pluck one or two of my feathers, to say the least. That's my point, okay? It's overrated. For example, me, my aim isn't to become a millionaire. If I do become a millionaire, then I welcome it. Then it will be no different than anything else in a manner of speaking. So within this context that I accomplished, I attained it all, no problemo. Nothing changes for me. I just keep moving forward. If I become a billionaire, great. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be like, that, for example, as I'm sitting here, I'm going like, millions, I want millions, I want billions. No. What kind of people do stuff like that? People that aren't used to having anything. No different. People that can be bought and sold, bluntly put. People that are no different than a cell phone or some other inanimate object. And honestly, people like that should be ashamed of themselves, at least in a manner of speaking. Like I said, it's okay to metaphorically chase wealth, but see to it that you do indeed do that, that you chase wealth and not money. And it has to be striving towards or for, not literally chase, because those equal greed. Striving towards wealth is done constructively, and it simply stands for expecting the best from yourself or demanding it even in the financial department. But again, if you're just if you choose that dark road, then you're just going to end up, if you're not careful, if you're broke, even worse off than you were before. Again, it's like a dog chasing a bone. People that chase money like that, as in I want to become a millionaire, get rich quick scheme, blah 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 blah, and they think it can be done without going through the mechanics, the likes of which I described earlier on in the video. They're like a dog chasing a bone that is tied to a string, and there's some guy with like a fishing rod, that's essentially just holding it deliberately over that dog, and the dog is just going to keep trying to grab that bone to no avail. It's just stupid. Or a dog trying to bite its own tail or chase its own tail. Whatever analogy you want to use or metaphor you want to use, it's just, again, so yeah, be aware that being a millionaire or anything past that and whatnot is overrated. For exactly the reasons and the likes of which I described. And that's all, guys. Bye.